Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports. It's the weekly Red Wing breakdown. Red Wings did good this week. They got 5 out of a possible 6 points. Really, what else could you ask for besides winning every game? But with how this week went, there wasn't much else really that could have happened. 2 of them were in overtime. First one was against Toronto. You ended up winning 2-1 in overtime. It's a good game by the Red Wings. Dylan Larkin has tied Sergei Fedorov for most overtime goals in franchise history. So that will probably get broken at some point in the next year or so. Well, it was a good game overall by the Red Wings. They outshot the Maple Leafs 41-31. Gibson played very well. Didn't score on the power play though, which it's fine, it's whatever. But for the most part, it was a good game. They played pretty well against Toronto.
Well, they hung out, like I said. Toronto is a team that's on the break. They may make the playoffs, they may not, and I think they're seeing how much Marner meant to them. Like I said, they're not the same team without him. Maybe they could trade Austin Matthews.
But it wasn't a bad game, though. Nothing else you can really ask for the Red Wings between that one. They had 2 back-to-back games again. They had to travel from Toronto after playing in overtime to Minnesota.
This is the game that impressed me,
which was terrible schedule-wise. They had to travel from Toronto to Minnesota back-to-back games. They ended up, honestly, they probably could have won this game in regulation.
They could.
But again, you play back-to-back nights in 2 different cities that aren't even close to each other. You were able to make it to overtime and sneak a point in. You were able to sneak a point, got 1 point out of the game. You lost in overtime. Really had a couple opportunities in overtime. You're outshot 39-33. But you won most of the faceoffs. You almost out-hit them. You scored on the power play. You blocked 18 shots total, and you had 14 giveaways and 4 takeaways. So,
I expected them to lose this game because, just like you said, the way it was set up, Minnesota's a pretty darn good team. I just felt they wouldn't have much gas left. But you know what? To get a point out of that, that's pretty darn good. And like you said, they could have won.
They probably could have. There was a couple moments in regulation where you could have. I mean, James Van Riemsdyk, I believe, had another good goal.
Talbot played well.
Both your goalies are playing well, which is all you can ask for right now, too. But again, you're staying atop, and then you played last night against the Jets, where you should have won. You won 5-1 pretty convincingly. JT Compher had a good game, had 2 goals. Goalie did well. Gibson played well. Just overall, it was a good game.
Gibson is the best goaltender in the league.
Probably since December 1st. I'd say probably since December 1st. You outshot them 31-27, even on the hits. Won most of the faceoffs. Overall, you played the way you should have against the Jets. Ended up winning, again, 5-1. Now you're sitting still atop of the Eastern Conference with 69 points total. Instead of, could have faltered a little bit this week. But with the standing right now, you're sitting at 69 points, a point ahead of Tampa Bay, and tied in total with Carolina at 69 points. Atop of the Eastern Conference. Again, Carolina has 1 game in hand on you, and then Tampa has 3, so anything can happen with these standings, but I'm pretty confident with the other teams sitting amongst the Eastern Conference with your standings. Buffalo has entered 3rd place in our division.
Buffalo.
At 63 points. They hopped Montreal, and with the game in hand as well, along with Boston kind of right there behind them on top of that. But you're currently 3 games up on Buffalo, so you have some room to falter a little bit when it comes to Buffalo. Buffalo has a plus 17 goal differential, so they might be coming in hot too with this division pretty soon.
Now, I have a question. Before the All-Star break, before the Olympic break, are we all supposed to have the same number of games?
I'm going to assume not.
Why not? That seems unfair.
I'm going to assume most of them are going to be not in line because there's no way that we have played more games than everybody, and it's not going to somehow catch back up after. Because we only got a couple weeks left.
We're going to have some big gaps and let these other teams catch up in games. So,
because we have played the most games out of everybody so far to this point. And again, we'll see how this division shapes up. You're only at a +8 goal differential, which again, it's not, the worst thing to happen, but at the same time, you need that to be higher in order to stay at top of the Eastern Conference.
Freaking Tampa.
Tampa has a
+47.
Has a +47.
Wow.
Buffalo right now is at a +17, and then Boston's at a +12. Montreal's at a +2. That's not going to hold long for you to stay atop of the division at a +2. And same thing with us. If you want to stay atop, you got to get better than an 8. You got to keep
that. Just means we're winning a lot of close games.
Yes, but at the same time, you need that to be better.
Right.
We don't want to be in close games all the time. Overall, though, we'll see how it fully ends up going for the rest of the year. This week is not going to be your easiest week either when you look at everything. In general, if this thing will go, I know you're playing the Kings this week, you're playing the Capitals this week, you're playing the Avalanche this week.
And then we play the Avalanche twice in a row before the Olympic break.
Yes, but you only play them once in the span of this week. You don't play them any other time. Well, you play them back to back. You basically do back to back, so you have a day in between. So Tuesday you're playing Los Angeles, Thursday you're playing Washington, and then Saturday you're playing Colorado. And an early game at home, 1:00. You'll be on Hulu on Thursday. Hulu and ESPN Plus.
So out of those, that's like 10 points right there. If we got 6 out of the 10, you'd say that was okay. That was pretty good. Considering we were playing Avalanche twice.
Well, out of our last 10 games.
Well, there's like 5 games before the Olympics.
Oh, we get 5 games. Our last 5 games, like 10 possible
points. If we could get anywhere from 6 to
your next 3 are at home. This whole week is at home. If you can honestly sweep your home games, that gives you a nice 6 points. Then you're going to play Colorado and Utah. If you can handle Utah in Utah, I think that your goal should be try to win 4 out.
I haven't been following Utah. Are they good?
They're playing good this year.
Okay.
They are playing better this year. Your goal should be try to win at least one of the 2 against Colorado, which is going to be difficult. That game could easily go to overtime if you are even in control of the game, because that's just how good Colorado has been this year.
I'm of the point, any points we get out of Colorado is good.
Yes, any points out of Colorado will be good.
But like you said, Los Angeles isn't very good this year.
Washington's, again, the whole Eastern Conference has been okay. They've been decent, but you got to take advantage of being at home and get these points. Colorado's 2 games are not going to be as easy, and then neither will the Utah game, really. But if you can get points out of Utah, that's what you need to do out of your last 5.
I got a question because I've been noticing this, and it's my idea. I don't know what Edmondson's injury is exactly, but if they could,
lower body,
if they could keep winning without him in, because they keep talking about, is he going to be back this day to day? I'm of the thing of, hey, you know what? If we can get points without him, let's give him that Olympic break to get better.
Let's say it's undisclosed. It just says a lower body injury, so we don't know exactly what the issues are. But in general, I mean,
it doesn't sound super serious, but
we haven't really made any moves to fill in his spot either. So that means they're not as concerned. At least at the moment, they're not as concerned. If they haven't tried to call anybody up to fill in the spot. Regardless, again, you're sitting at a good spot. The Brink is sitting at 27 goals. Maybe you could be at 30 before the Olympic break. Raymond, 40 assists, leads the team in points with 58. You got your 6th ranked power play, 18th on the penalty kill, just below 80%. And you're allowing you're allowing basically 3 goals a game while scoring. You're allowing just less than 3 goals a game while scoring just over 3 goals a game.
Right.
So again, kind of how we were saying, very close games.
But they seem to be winning. Like I said, it's there a lot of close games. And that's just the way.
Funny enough, though, when you're looking at the past years, before we fully go, looking at past years, because I didn't know that the ESPN had this team history. Last year, you won 39 games. You're currently at 32.
pretty good.
So you might be at last year's win total before March.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, it depends on how much you win here. You got more than 4 games.
Realistically, like I said, we could beat Los Angeles, we could beat Washington, we could beat Utah.
That's 3.
And whatever we get out of those 2 Colorado games.
That puts you at 35. You should still have a couple games at the end of February. It could be about 37 by the end of the month.
When do we come back for the Olympic break?
I think the 23rd.
Oh, okay.
I think the 23rd. So regardless, you could be at last year's win total.
How many wings are playing in the Olympics?
3.
All right.
And your big 3.
Ain't too bad. Raymond, Larkin, and who else?
Sider.
Will play for Germany?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Germany will get knocked out.
You got 2, you got 2 games at the end of February, both on the road. Ottawa, Carolina. But I say early March, you could hit that. But March is going to kind of start out interesting when you come back. We'll get more into that later on. But it does look like you're going to have a pretty interesting schedule to start out the month of March, which is not good for Red Wings history-wise for who you're playing. Because that is going to be a doozy of a schedule.
Right.
Until about mid-March. Going from Vegas to Florida to New Jersey, back to Florida, Tampa, and then Dallas. Yeah, that's going to be That's going to be a handful of a couple weeks. That's actually all in the span of almost a week.
That is a very rough.
That's a week because that's from the 6th to the 14th.
Well, that's where you hope we can at least just stay at 500 for that stretch.
Because after that, you kind of can breathe a little. Yeah, you're going to play a couple good teams.
Calgary, Montreal, we can beat them. We can beat almost everybody.
But that you have a doozy of.
We can beat anybody. I'm of the think that there isn't a team out there right now that will give us, other than maybe Colorado. Like I said, I'm not saying that we can't get points against them.
You got 6 straight games in March that look like to be a concern, at least to me right now. That look to be a concern because it all depends on what happens after Olympic break too. Because you got about 1, 2, 3 games after the Olympic break before you hit that.
We don't look like we have any back-to-back, which is good.
I think we won't after the Olympic. I think we played so many before the Olympic break that we won't.
The trade deadline. So.
But you're playing almost every 2 days.
You think we're going to pick anybody else for the trade deadline?
Maybe one guy, but we'll see.
I'm with a lot of people. I hope we pick up somebody before the Olympic break. That way we get a chance to acclimate them.
It looks like you're playing almost every 2 days up until March 16th, and then you're playing every 3 days. You have one back-to-back.
When?
March 27th and March 28th.
Well, at least they're not against great teams.
Buffalo and Philadelphia. But it looks like you're playing about every 2 to 3 days the rest of the year, besides that one back-to-back. Every 2 to 3 days.
Well.
So.
All right.
Besides this one, you have 4 days rest there, but not 4 days. That's another 2-day rest. Another 2-day rest. So yeah, about every 2 to 3 days. But we'll see what ends up happening. Hopefully,
who would you like to see them pick up?
I'm saying Panarin.
Panarin?
I want a Chicago line, though I don't think any of them are centers, so they probably can't.
I would like to see them pick up. Same with you, Panarin and Dougie Hamilton.
So you got to give up a lot. That's the only thing. How much
you have to give up a lot?
How much is Eiserman willing to give up is really the question of the trade. I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general. How much is Eiserman willing to give up come trade deadline?
Or like somebody made a good point. Winnipeg has a couple defensemen, Luke Shen, and that freaking Stanley guy is a monster. I would love to see somebody like that on our back end.
It's going to come down to how much is Eiserman willing to give up when it comes to draft picks and when it comes to prospects and who's on your team.
Well, we're at a point now where, you know what, everyone goes, well, you're not a Stanley Cup team. When do you know that? You got to make a move. You're good, and you got to make a move so that you'll be, I think and right now they're as good as anybody in the East.
I'm not worried about anybody in our division. History-wise, the only team I'm kind of worried about would be Carolina.
If you improve the 5 and 6 spot defense, I think they could go to the cup if you do that.
Listen, you could win a series against Pittsburgh. You could win a series against the Islanders. You could win a series.
You can win anybody they can't win a series against.
Carolina.
Carolina.
It's just because of our.
We might not play them.
Why not?
You don't know.
I'm saying
maybe they'll be eliminated.
I think you can handle Tampa because you've shown this year you can beat Tampa. Carolina, you beat Carolina one game this year. It's just history-wise.
I don't like playing Carolina either. They just don't seem to match up with us. But
everyone else,
who knows? We might not end up playing them. It's all matchups.
Well, with them being a first-place team in their conference by 8 points.
Lose.
By 8 points, you don't have to at least face them till
as close as the East is. I think that the 8 can beat the 1. I think anybody can come out of the East
right now. Let's check our standings just before we go. Right now Boston sits as the second wild card.
Are you saying neither one of those teams can beat Carolina or us? I think either one of them could beat us or Carolina.
Well, right now you're second place, so you'd be playing Montreal.
63 points. So all that's separating the number 1 team from the 8th seed is like 7 points. That's nothing. That's good goaltending. You could.
Well, that's us. Separating for Carolina to get out of the playoffs is 57.
What are you talking about?
But it's a different division.
Well, I'm still saying the difference is.
Yeah, it's 7 points. I'm just saying here,
you're out of the freaking playoffs.
Carolina is sitting in a nice, pretty spot when it comes to the playoffs. They'll be inside their division.
That's right. We're curious. Like I said, Colorado is really good.
Playing far less games.
Again, they're playing far weaker opponents more often. And the East is just a beast. They're just, you can't discount that. There's so much competition. We're going to be playoff ready right now. I mean, this is the playoffs.
I don't know what happened to Vancouver. They fell off.
I don't know what happened to Vancouver, and I don't know what happened to
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, right?
Winnipeg fell off. Vancouver fell off. Calgary's playing bad. The Blues suck. Chicago's floating around 500 right now.
Utah's in the playoffs.
Utah's a playoff team right now. In fact, they're not going to make it.
They would be in conference.
I think they're in the Central Division, so they're not going to end up anywhere near.
No, they're going to have to be a wild card.
They're going to have to be a wild card with how the Centrals play.
But you look at their wild cards compared to our wild cards, they wouldn't be in the wild card.
No. The Kings are floating to try and make it.
I love seeing Anaheim as the number 3 in the Pacific because I got.
Well, they're fighting with San Jose.
Jerseys are so cool.
They're fighting with San Jose and LA, but at least it'd be something different. We're not.
Yeah, I want to see
at least a playoff.
That would make me give more teams to me because really I haven't watched the West very much.
It's the same teams every year, though.
It's the same teams all the time. Sick of seeing them.
We need Nashville back.
Colorado.
I need Nashville back in the playoffs. I need Chicago back in the playoffs.
Right.
Get St. Louis in the playoffs event. They ain't going to make it. Chicago might be able to fight their way for a wild card. They're only 5 points back.
Anaheim, if we play at the Oilers, that'd be kind of a fun series.
At least it's a different series. You got Wild and Stars again. Woo. Right now you'd have Avalanche and Sharks.
Which means 2 really good cup contending teams. One of them is not going to get out of the first round.
Avalanche and Sharks and then Mammoth and Knights.
I think it's a horrible way to do that.
Mammoth and Knights might not be a bad series, too, because they're kind of close.
1-8. What would that be? Who would they play? Minnesota would end up playing Utah, and probably Dallas would end up playing.
What? If what happened?
We just did it 1 through 8.
We just did it 1 through 8?
Dallas would be playing Anaheim. So, I think, like I said, it's crazy. And that's a lot. Everybody plays by the same rules and all that stuff, so that's fine. But it is kind of
if you did 1 through 8, Colorado Sharks, Wild Ducks, Stars, Mammoth, and then Knights and Oilers, which is a far different playoff layout completely. Honestly, you probably could go back to 1 through 8 your two division winners be top 2 seeds is what I would say do, unless it's really that far off. Because in that sense, the Knights would move to 2 in this reality.
Hey,
And
we've been fighting these so long, and that's part of the thing. Like I said, the Wings just they can't take a break. You can't take a night off.
You can't take your foot off the gas.
You got to try to get a point every night if you can. And
we've only lost 5 times. You've only lost 5 times in overtime and won 8 because you have 22 regulate. Actually, more than that. You've won 10 in overtime.
Well, right. In Tampa Bay,
you're 10-5.
Tampa Bay just lost their first game in regulation out of their last 16. They won 15 in a row.
You had the same record as them, though. The past 10 games, you have the same record as them.
Right.
You haven't done worse. You haven't done better, but you haven't done worse, which is what you want to be doing. Carolina has snuck an extra. Well, lost a point overall. They're 7-1-2, so they lost a point overall this past week. Buffalo has just been going. They're 7-2-1.
Right.
Boston's coming back up. They're 8-2-0.
Right.
Montreal has fallen off this week with a 5-4-1, or the past 10 games with a 5-4-1 record. So they're falling back a little bit.
Is this the last part of the season? Let's go into the break. I'm not saying we should be here. We just got to keep this up. Out of the next 10 points, at least get 6 or 7 points out of the next 10.
You need to be up there. You need to keep winning. That's the main thing.
Winning. And, like I said, if you can do that, come back from the break, and you got to stay. Is the thing. I don't care about being number 1. I care about making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's just keep this going and see where we're at.
So you gotta win. That's so simplify. Keep winning. Get yourself in a good spot. Come the Olympic break, you'll have 3 weeks to heal up, get better, keep practicing. I don't care. Don't sit on your butts. Keep moving. Keep practicing. And get yourself ready for that stretch, because that once you get past that first stretch in March, you should be fine.
And I can't see how Eisman can justify not at least adding one impactful player.
Sure, there should be something should happen. Something should happen to straight that. If nothing happens, then it's going to be semi-concerning.
You have to admit, Eisman's pickups this year, if just Gibson and Van Riem's like both very good pickups. That he made the offseason that have, really added to his team. Van Riem's like going to end up with 20 goals. Who thought that at the beginning of the season? So we'll see.
But we'll see fully what happened. I'm seeing if there's anything else to kind of go over before we fully go. But I think we're good. We'll see what ends up happening. But we'll end it here. If you like to see, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the Wings.
Preview?
Yes, we are probably going to talk about the Olympics. We will talk about the Olympics once that comes around. But if you like to see, like, comment, subscribe, share the video around. Let me know what you think about the Red Wings and all the stuff going on. What you think their hopes are for the rest of the year. Until next time. See you.